Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Leadoo webinar about Leadoo's one of the new features called Leadoo Prospector. What it can do to help you increase the conversion rates on your website and how could you use it to generate more sales. Without too much waiting, let's jump straight to the point. So my name is Mikael Acosta. I'm one of the founders of Leadoo Marketing Technologies. And today I'll tell you more on how Leadoo can help your sales team qualify better prospects and how to increase the sales. So one of the challenges that companies today face is that less than 2% of your website visitors actually end up converting. And at the same time, many of the salespeople are struggling to find qualified prospects to reach out to. So one of the questions that I many times face is that, okay, should you be doing inbound or should you be doing outbound? The answer that I usually give people is that you should probably be doing both, and probably to be doing something which is in between inbound and outbound. Many times people that convert, they take, or at least in the B2B space, it takes quite some time to convert someone into the sales qualified lead. But what if your salespeople could actually reach out to the people who have given some initial buying signals that they could be interested to convert into a lead? I will actually change the mixed space still. Sorry. What it all comes down to is that if a company is using Leadoo, we can actually identify 20 to 40% of the companies that are visiting your website. So now, instead of the sales team waiting only for the hot qualified leads to come in, or either prospecting themselves and cold calling customers, now you could be calling companies that you know that have shown already some initial interest towards your company, or that might already have been on the buyer journey for quite some time, but still for a reason or another didn't reach out to you. So from my point of view, in today's world, you have two different type of leads that companies shouldn't be speaking of. Because in today's world, converting leads is probably harder than ever. And I call these leads that ask personally to be contacted, I call them hard leads. They are people who have been already quite some time on the sales funnel and have done the whole buyer journey on their own. The soft leads, from my point of view, are companies that have shown interest towards your product or service, but haven't explicitly asked to be contacted. So let's take an example. Imagine that you were a company selling, for example, business intelligence solutions on Power BI. If a person on Google searches Power BI, and let's put it now London, probably a company will come that offers this type of service. The visitor enters the website, he doesn't explicitly ask to be contacted, but since this person is searching for that type of solutions, probably he has some type of need that he's trying to figure out. So instead of the salesperson now calling a cold lead who has never possibly even thought about Power BI, why wouldn't he reach out to the person who is visiting your website? With Leadoo, what we are able to do as well is that many of the companies doing different type of stuff with company identification and telling which companies are visiting your website, they will only tell you that, yeah, someone visited your website, but with Leadoo, we can actually even have conversations with these companies. Even we don't explicitly know who the person within this company is, in most cases, we still are able to enrich the company data with the discussions that Leadoo bots can have with the visitors. And today, what we are going to speak more about is the soft leads and how could you use these soft leads as part of your sales process and how it all fits in. How Leadoo is actually different, and many of you on the line as well might have used different type of solutions before that you get the name of the company that visited your website. And typically this type of tools will tell you that what was the company, what was the industry, revenue, company description, maybe a general phone number, and maybe even a general email, and what pages they have visited. Leadoo will give you all of that, but so much more. Now, we will also tell you that how much time did people spend on different pages, so you can actually identify more the interest that they have towards the different services that your company might offer. We will also tell you what was the source where the person found you. So now if we take the whole like marketing journey in consideration, so let's imagine that someone saw your ad on Facebook or even LinkedIn. The person didn't ask to see your ad, but they saw it. While again in Google, the person might have searched that I'm looking for someone in London to develop Power BI solutions. While in the same ad in Facebook or in LinkedIn could see that explore what kind of opportunities you have with these tools. So there's two like buyer personas that are in different stages. So with the source data, we can actually also understand which companies are the most potential ones to reach out to. Because as companies have hundreds, even thousands of visitors a month, and we identify 20 to 40% of them, gives you a huge list of companies. Now, also taking in consideration the source will help you identify the most suitable for you at the different stages of the buy process. Leadoo will also enrich the companies with decision maker data. So instead of the salespeople going manually to look for the data, we can actually bring it immediately for you. And Leadoo is also able with the discussions to identify different type of buying signals, which help us also identify which should be the companies to reach out to. Compared to other solutions, Leadoo also tells you if the company has visited the website before and what has been the behavior on different events or different sessions that the visitors have been on your website. And how we look at the prospector is that for Leadoo as a company, for us, it has always been extremely important that we don't just want that we create some value, but the value needs to be fully integrated to the company's existing processes as well. So the old way how company identification usually works is that we recognize a company, maybe it's even integrated to Salesforce or HubSpot or Dynamics. Then it comes down that the salesperson checks that what's the company. Then they will start looking like who's the decision maker for this company, and then they will start manually adding the details to the CRM. So even we now know which company it is, it still has a lot of manual work. And for example, if we look at marketing automation processes, you cannot add a person into a workflow with the old way of working. But with the Leadoo way, you can. So how Leadoo works is that once we recognize the company, based if the company already exists in your CRM, we won't create a new company, but we will just update the company record and we will enrich it with the decision maker data and also with all the action that the person has done on the website. If it doesn't exist yet, then Leadoo will create a new company and also bring in the decision maker data as well. This creates value both for the sales team and for the marketing team, because based on the different actions that people take, we can also identify if this person should be nurtured by a marketing automation now as the decision maker data is in place, or should it be something that the salesperson will take responsibility for. according to the different actions that can be determined. How does it look in practice? So here's a screenshot of how the Leadoo company identification looks like. When I click on a specific company, we can see the general information about this company. We will be able to see that there's, for example, for Leadoo, there's 8 decision makers available. We can see the titles and we can see the email addresses of these people. We will also be able, as said, see what was the sources when the person entered our website, how did they get to know us, and also all the events that have happened. So here I have one test that spent 12 minutes on the website and visited all of these pages. And next to it, I can see also how long time he spent on each page in order to help then determine the buying signals for the sales team. And as said, we don't want Leadoo to be just one additional tool to your sales team that you need to be checking on, but we want that Leadoo works with all the existing processes as well. So with the Leadoo integration tool, once a new company's profile is identified, we can then create the contacts of this company now in HubSpot. I hope this is making sense till now. But how I would actually be using this in practice, you have different ways how you can utilize the tool. So within the company identification, what I will be able then to do is to filter out different type of leads based on the criteria that I want. So in this case, what I would, for example, want to see is people that visited a specific page. So let's type here, for example, in-page bot is one of our sub pages. So I want only to see the companies that have been on these pages. We have a lot of data in this account, so it will take a moment to load and filter those out. But bear with me and I'll be able to show it that soon. At the same time, we can see that, for example, on the in-page bot page, we have 400 people who have visited there. 326 people of the people who have been identified that have been on that page have visited our pages more than once. And pretty much half of the people who have been on the in-page bot page have been converted. I can also see the distribution based on different industries and revenue sizes, which gives me an understanding like what kind of companies, for example, are being pulled in for this service. Below, I can see all the companies. Unfortunately, due to GDPR, I won't show the data of other companies, but for our own, then now I can see that Leadoo has been converted. These are the decision makers. I can pull info, more data in as well. 137 visitors have been happened. When were they visit the first time? How have the tracking looked like? And for example, now I can see that it was Jani Laakso spoke with the bot. I can see all the details that have been discussed and see all the other data that has happened as well. How should you use these actually in sales? As said, from my point of view, companies shouldn't only be looking at inbound or outbound, but they should be looking at something in between as well, which is the perfect solution that Leadoo offers for the companies. But from my point, this is a very brief introduction to how the company identification essentially works and what you can do with it. But I would be very happy to take any questions on the topic and any thoughts that you might have with this feature. We have nowadays fairly quiet audiences, but I hope from my point that it makes sense. Our CS team and our sales teams can give you a broader view on the tool and help you implement it so your sales team can get most out of it, as well as the marketing team in enriching the marketing automations with people that have already shown interest towards your products or services. From my end, I want to thank you all for attending today, and feel free to reach out to me or anyone of the Leadoo team with any questions. Thank you.